Woody died in the rehab center and probably made some new elderly friends that wanted to pay their respects. It was like a train wreck. Mama and me couldn't stop gawking at the blue hairs, the elderly, as they took a gander at Woody in his casket through the window. "I'm telling you right now, hand to God," Mama said, and flung her hand up in the air. "If you let them do that to me, I swear I'll haunt you the rest of your life." "Just like Poppa?" I asked. "Huh?" She jerked around and looked at me. "Joking," I said. A flat-out lie. My Poppa, Mom's dad and retired sheriff of Cottonwood, hadn't necessarily been haunting me, but since I took over as sheriff, Poppa was my guardian angel deputy from the great beyond. Poppa only showed up when there were murders in Cottonwood, and I was happy to report he wasn't here today, so that meant not only that Woody wasn't murdered, but no one else in Cottonwood was either, and all was well in our little town. "If you'll excuse me, I'd like to go give my condolences to the family." I finished my sentence and wanted to get away before Mama realized what I'd said and questioned me further. No one knew about me having the ability to see and visit with Poppa except Duke. Duke was my hound dog, and I was sure he wasn't going to say anything to anyone. Mama didn't say a word, so either she was still stewing over the fact that Lulu McLean was about to replace her on the top rung of the social ladder, or that Daddy was late. Mama didn't like to be late, and that rule included Daddy, who she claimed was a direct reflection on her as well. I didn't want my relationship with Finn to be like that, so I took a deep breath and knew he'd get there when he could make it. After all, he was holding down the sheriff's department while I'd taken the time to come here early and shake a few hands. As the sheriff of Cottonwood, I had to attend every funeral, birth, baptism, and whatever else appealed to a family. It was, after all, those times that the good citizens of Cottonwood would remember when it was time for me to run for re-election in a couple of years. Little did I realize that my saturated childhood of yes ma'ams and no sirs, along with the bit of Jesus that Mama beat into my head, would all come in handy when running for an election around here. Or maybe it was all the lessons. Lordy, the lessons. Piano lessons, tap lessons, modeling lessons, clogging lessons, and handwriting lessons, to mention a few, that added to the lunacy of my life that made me want to follow in the footsteps of my Poppa and not become a debutante, which was the very thing Mama was trying to make out of me by doing all them darned lessons. The funeral home was packed, which made sense because funerals, weddings, and births were a big deal around these Kentucky parts. Woody Moss's funeral would be front-page news on the Cottonwood Chronicle and talk of the town down at Ben's Diner. That's just how it was. "Hi, do," I nodded and shook hands as I weaved in and out of the crowd, making my way back to the room where Woody's family had gathered. Even though I knew some of them people didn't vote for me, I always remembered what Poppa would say to me during his election years. "Don't cost a nickel to be polite." Having good manners and giving social grace was just a way of life around here. I was sure that was why there were so many people at funerals, whether you knew them or not. There was a line of folks giving their condolences and telling stories they had with Woody. I couldn't offer any of those. He was an elderly man I really didn't know, other than when I talked with him about my Papa's reign as sheriff. Everyone loved Poppa. I made my way to the back of the family room and stood in line with my hands folded in front of me. I told you I did the best I could. I couldn't help but overhear a young woman with shoulder-length blonde hair, fair skin, and the brightest of red lipstick on her lips talking to the man Mama pointed out as Woody's grandson, Rich. "If I find out that your best wasn't good enough, there'll be hell to pay," Rich said to her through gritted teeth as she jerked her arm out of his grip. "Is everything okay here?" Not that I wanted to butt my head into someone's business,